Hi everyone, my name is Ellie Lee and welcome to my YouTube channel where I talk all about what it really means to be an awakening being. Waking up in a very unawakened world, aka the patriarchy, aka hell on earth, aka the place we've all been brainwashed and completely conditioned to live out our lives in separation from our divinity, which is the truth of who and what we are. Welcome. Welcome to eclipse season. Ooh, okay. It's the eclipse today, started yesterday. We have another eclipse on the 21st. All I know is that eclipses are big time, big time, big time. I can feel a lot. And today I really want to talk about some of the things that I'm feeling, some of the things that are coming up, and some of the things that are being asked of many of us right now. And whatever eclipse season is bringing up for you, beautiful, really dig into it, feel it, okay? Because people are always like, what's the answer? What am I experiencing? What are you experiencing? Feel it. Go into it. Be your own astrologer. Be your own healer. Be your own whatever. Feel what's here. What are you asking to be elevated out of? What are you asking? What are you being asked to elevate into? What's coming up for you? What's going on? Feel. Okay? I am moving through a very beautiful chapter right now. I've never been more excited thus far on my path than this eclipse season. And it has been opening up a lot for me. And I'm not here just to talk about me, but I'm here to talk about what I'm feeling and what I'm going through and what I'm seeing right now that's happening in the collective. And right now I am moving through an elevation in my path, in my consciousness, and also just an opening to me and who I really am and what I'm really here to become, okay? And I just feel there's a reason why I came in as a woman, right? And we have to understand something. Women are here to be the leaders of the new earth. And that does not mean that divine men do not play their very crucial role in a world of oneness. Together in oneness, we work together in oneness. But in the patriarchy, all we've ever known is separation. And in the patriarchy is the inverted world, which means everything's inverted, okay? So everything you've ever seen in your entire life, because you've grown up in the patriarchy, it's inverted, all right? So the new earth will be nothing like what the patriarchy is, all right? And everything you know of the patriarchy, if you think that you just flip that around and that's what the matriarchy is going to look, you haven't done enough homework and you haven't been taught by a divine teacher to really teach you what a matriarchy looks like, because a matriarchy is not what a patriarchy is. You don't just flip it and now women are dominant, controlling, narcissistic, manipulative leaders. No. In a matriarchy, it functions in oneness, okay? And patriarchy functions in separation. That's why the world is the way that it is, because every country system is under a patriarchal thumb, which means everything's corrupt, which means everything's fucked up. And then we need to understand that. Now, in the new earth, the leaders of the new earth will be women. And they will be the empaths and they will be the highly sensitive people who have done the work on themselves to elevate into becoming a being of oneness, into what it really means to be a leader. We have a very corrupt definition of what a leader is because all we've ever seen of leaders is corruption. Complete and utter corruption. And if you don't think that every leader that is misogynistic and of patriarchy and under evil forces is serving you in any way or cares about you, you've got a rude awakening coming. Okay? Because the truth is that they're all puppets and they're all there so that we can fight and we can be in separation, we can be in division. That's the truth. Okay. So you've heard this probably a lot. The divine feminine is awakening. Okay. You might hear it everywhere. What does that mean? When we have been born in a very corrupt world under patriarchy, everything that patriarchy does, every agenda, is here to desecrate, squash, and extinguish the feminine. Okay, my teacher does a whole teaching on this, many podcasts on this. If you ever want to listen to her thorough teachings, it's Masters of Self University podcast. Listen to it, okay? So in the patriarchy, all agendas lead back to the same thing, is desecrate the creator, desecrate the feminine. Okay, why do you think they enslave and oppress women? Why do you think they do this to animals as well? All they do is corrupt, brutalize, traumatize, desecrate, and destroy the feminine because they know the power of the feminine. Okay. The only thing exists is oneness, and oneness is feminine because feminine is what creates and what gives birth. Okay. So we have to understand that the old world, the old earth, that's all they want to do. But this is the lifetime where they actually will die. They are dying, and they will become nothing because the divine feminine is awakening. And I would hear this a lot, and I would be a student of this, but it wasn't until I started awakening in me that I started to I'm starting to put a lot of pieces together, okay? I've seen the divine sacred feminine in me when I've coached at clients that I coach, helping them move through their deepest traumas. I felt it. It is an energy that is inexplainable. I have felt it when I have been healed by a powerful, enlightened woman. I feel what it is. And of course, they don't want women waking up to this within themselves, because once women wake up to this within themselves, it's game over. There is no stopping us, because there is no stopping the divine feminine. There is none. Okay? It is what will incinerate the patriarchy and every single evil entity that created the patriarchy. So right now, what I'm feeling in this eclipse season is the call for many women to rise. Okay? The ones that are meant to rise in this lifetime. The ones that are meant to elevate for real. The ones that are meant to become what they're meant to become, to help humanity shift out of the old earth and to create new earth. We must become what new earth is. That is not a passive process. That takes work, willingness, and devotion. All right? So what I'm seeing right now is many women, because mostly it's women that are choosing to heal themselves and to elevate their level of consciousness. And a lot of men out there, they look like they're doing it, but a lot of them are not. There's a lot of charlatans and a lot of fakes and a lot of men out there who know a lot of knowledge, but they're not integrating anything. It has not become wisdom at all. Okay? Women are waking up for real. They're really doing the work. They're connecting to their internal divine power. They are learning alchemy. They are learning what it means to descend into the darkness, what it means to rise like a phoenix out of the ashes and become. At our school in particular, most of the students are women. That doesn't mean that there's not beautiful men that are really doing the work on themselves for real, like they are, but mostly it's women. And as women elevate, because women are the ones who are going to be doing it, or who are going to be the leaders, they're the ones that are leading the troops into New Earth. They are elevating for real, and they're waking up for real, and they're doing the work on them for real. And then they look over at their husbands they've been with for 10 years, or they look at their boyfriends who, when they were unconscious, they were dating, that they were in love, and they thought that this relationship is everything. I'm going to marry this guy because he's so amazing. He's so this. And then you start waking up within yourself, and you start to realize and see that this guy that you thought was everything is not actually anything at all. And you start seeing how unconscious he is, how he refuses to elevate, how he refuses to do the work. You see how emotionally fragile they are. And this is for everybody. And this is no judgment. This is just the truth, right? We've all been brainwashed to be emotionally fragile until we start to do the work on ourselves to elevate out of being emotionally fragile and becoming powerful beings, right? Because divine people feel powerfully. Okay. All right. And what's happening is the men are not wanting to do the work. Okay. And this is what patriarchy has done to men. They have completely destroyed them in every single way, shape, or form. And the women now are at choice points, right? They're at this place where they're like, okay, I thought I was going to be with this guy forever, or I've been with this guy forever, and I am waking up for real, which means I'm also waking up to him and the truth of him and who he is, and all of the facades and the mask and all of these things that I thought that he was is all shattering. It's all falling down, and you are being called to walk a higher path. You are being called to incinerate anything that is blocking you from becoming who and what you are as a woman in this lifetime, and with that is going to bring an immense amount of wounding for you. You're going to feel the loneliness, the devastation, the grief, the sadness, the codependency, the needy, the wanting, all of that shit. You're going to feel and see it all. in you. And it's going to be challenging. And your mind's going to want to come in, and your mind's going to want to say things like, no, but if you just work on yourself, like you can stay in the relationship, or like he doesn't need to be anything that he isn't, I'll just keep evolving and all this shit, when you're just completely dismissing your intuition, which is your soul telling you what you need to do. And because you don't want to go into the programs and wounds, you want to listen to whatever feels nicer, whatever feels safer. And the truth of the matter is that you're here to explode and light on fire everything that is asking to be burned, so that you can walk the path of what it really means to evolve and what it really means to elevate as a woman this lifetime. I'm feeling all of that. Okay. I recently had a birth chart reading where my incredible astrologer was telling me like, oh, you have the ability, your emotional depth is so deep. And I was like, yeah. So all of my life, I've thought something was fucking wrong with me. All right. But in fact, it's actually one of my gifts. I came in extremely emotionally deep for a reason. My whole life, I thought something was wrong with me. I hated it. I hated being who I was. I would look at other people and I would think, what the fuck is wrong with me? How come nobody feels the way that I feel? And it's a very lonely and isolating thing. And then I think I've just got a ton of issues. And now at 38 years old, I find out truly, and I've known this in the past few years that I've been doing the work, but I can feel on levels that most people cannot feel. And I can feel the collective. And a part of what I'm here to do is that I'm powerful enough to alchemize and transmute a lot of the things that the collective are going through. And it's heavy and it's dense and it's not fun to feel. And this morning I woke up completely with this heaviness in my chest. It was the kind of heaviness where it was a mixture of just sadness and grief and agony and fear and you name it. And I'm sitting here and I'm lying in bed. It's 5 a.m. and I'm like, why am I feeling all this? What is happening? So I was like, whatever, it's here. I have to do the work to alchemize this. And so I do all of the work that I learned at our school, Masters of Self University, and I'm locating what it is. I'm identifying what all of this is, and I'm doing the work to purify and detach and alchemize. And as I'm doing this, I had a really interesting flash of a vision come up for me. And the vision was this woman that I used to watch on this dating show. And this woman, she is so wounded that all she wants is a man in her life. All she wants is to be loved by a man. All she wants is to be married and to be the safety of a man, right? And she's got all these father issues and da-da. And she just gives herself to any man that will love her. She gives everything, okay? And she flashed as I was doing the work to alchemize and work on all of this stuff. And after I finished, I felt better. And I was like, I wonder why she popped up for me. And I'm learning how to translate energy right now. And I realized and I felt into that the energy behind why this vision of this woman popped up for me is because this was what I'm transmuting for the collective right now. Are all of these women who needing and wanting and I need my man and I need a man and all that powerlessness and weak shit. Women are starting to wake up for real. They're being called to elevate higher. And so all of this denseness that I woke up with this morning was me feeling the collective of all the women that are feeling what they have to feel and all the ways that they've shown up with men. And it's time to alchemize that shit and walk the path that you're meant to walk, whoever you leave behind. And I felt all of that stuff inside of me, and I had to alchemize and transmute it. Heavy, but I came here to do it. Okay. And so the call right now is for women to rise, because the divine feminine is unstoppable. There's no stopping it. And the question is, will you choose to stay on old earth with an unconscious man who is not willing to work on himself at all, who is not willing to elevate out of the patriarchy? Are you choosing to stay with him and live a life where you'll never become who you're meant to become? Or will you choose to do what needs to be done, what your soul is asking you to do, and to walk the path that you're meant to walk and become what you're meant to become and create a new earth? That's the choice and that's the question. And so whatever you choose is whatever you choose. You are way too powerful for this shit. Listen to your soul and what is asking you to do, okay? And feel into the programs and the wounding that want you to stay, that want you to make a million excuses, that want you to run a justification program as to justify why you won't leave or why whatever. Listen to your own soul. It is your number one teacher in this life. Listen to your soul. And probably your wounds and your programs won't like what your soul is asking you to do. You're powerful enough to feel what needs to be felt and go into what you need to go into to do what your soul is asking you to become in this lifetime. Period. End of story. Period. That's it. So to the women out there, I tip my hat off to you. I know this is a challenging period. I know this is a challenging chapter. But who you will become after this chapter, blazing. And then get excited about everything that's coming. Because you chose you. Because you chose to honor and be the way of loyalty to your soul, to yourself, to the truth of you. That right there, that's a warrior. And only true awakening beings are warriors. So thanks for listening. Happy eclipse. And subscribe, leave a comment, share this video if you want. And until next time, I will see you guys later. Bye.